Today we're checking out When You Bootlick Billionaires
Holy Jesus
by our boy DH. This is about Asmon Gold. I'm not too familiar with this dude. I've heard about him. I always see some crazy stuff happening with him or that he says, but I never really watched the dude myself. But let's see what he's up to. Let's get into it.
I think it's finally time we talk about Asmon Goy, and I'll give credit where credit is due. Sneeko was right on the money when he referred to this man as Asmon Goy, and you should let me tell you why. When I see Asmon Gold, I can't help but think that if I was a little more conspiratorial, I would call this guy controlled opposition, because he is literally the epitome of billionaire bootlicker. Why is it that a millionaire streamer who is insulated by his wealth, spreading very divisive rhetoric amongst the working class? My working theory is that he might be a white supremacist, but what I do know definitively is that he is a right-wing robot.
From what I have seen about this dude, I do believe he is a white supremacist though. Can't even lie. I just knew he was always saying something crazy. I never really paid much attention to it.
Comes to Asmon Gold, bro, there are so many crazy clips that I'm surprised he hasn't just gotten nuked off of every single platform. It's crazy how this man has gone unchecked and unchallenged as he constantly perpetuates some of the most dangerous rhetoric I've ever seen. So today, twin, I just want to talk about how Asmon Goy is doing nothing but spreading divisive nonsense and how he's nothing but a right-wing android. So if this tea interests you, twin, you might as well come and tap in. Comment for the algorithm. Okay, now before I even get into some of these insane and horrific clips and some of the crazy rhetoric that Asmon Goy is saying, I actually want to start off with the Sneeko clip that influenced me to make this video.
Message to Dan Clancy and Twitch. I'm banned what, for criticizing Jewish supremacy? Criticizing Israel? You said I'm banned for hate speech, you haven't specified why. One of your top streamers,
Don't get me started on this dude, Sneeko, bro.
Asmon Goy, that kafir, is saying he thinks that you should shoot babies in the head because they could be used as a human shield, and that is not punished, and that's still openly being promoted on your platform.
Wait, is that what he's saying?
Holy Jesus
I didn't even know it was like that with Asmon Gold. Jeez.
It's just demonic at this point.
Now here's the thing, I will be making a video on Sneeko in the near future, but he was on the money here. This guy Asmon Gold literally was talking about shooting babies, and he's talked about shooting people and how he supports that multiple times, and yet he has still not been banned on the Twitch platform. And at this point in history, we know that Twitch plays favorites, but some of this stuff is genuinely just not okay, and by not banning these people and not removing them from their platforms, it just shows what Twitch permits. And if you're an intellectual, you should know that what you permit is what you allow and what you believe in, or at least people can infer that's what you believe in, because certain stuff needs to be disavowed, especially Asmon Gold. And as a warm-up for some of the horrific stuff we're about to get into, this is a clip of Asmon Gold saying he doesn't care about the genocide in 2024 because of Islamophobic talking points, as in the Sharia law nonsense. Take a look.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a They're terrible people. It's not even a question.
Here's my thing, dude. People always use Sharia law as an Islamophobic.
This man is straight up heartless, bro. This man and all the people that be thinking the way this man thinks is just straight up heartless. It's weird, man.
Big dog whistle. Basically, it's just a way for right-wingers and these conservatives to fearmonger people who believe in Islam. And regardless of what Asmon Goy wants to say, history has reflected that Palestinians were at the receiving end of this genocide. And in 2026, we literally have websites that will show you the documented genocide. It's all on video. There is no denying it. But I wanted to start off by showing you this because Asmon Goy is literally just heartless. He is a hollow human. The Gaza genocide is one of the most well-documented genocides we have. It's a genocide we've had a front row seat to view digitally, and using Islamophobic dog whistles does not change that fact. And that's why I agree with the term Asmon Goy, because when I think of the word Goy, I think of robot for the billionaires. What the billionaires and these elites want you to do is they want you to deny the genocide and they want us to be divided. And when you look at Asmon Goy's rhetoric on the internet, what does he do? He bootlicks the billionaires and the elites, and he tries to divide people by spreading this harmful rhetoric. Now, frankly, I do think this guy is very dumb and I think he's very ignorant. But if this is all somehow fabricated stupidity, then he is a propagandist, and that would be even worse. But let me show you guys a clip of him talking about how we should shoot kids.
Didn't Asmon Gold say that he's like allergic to water, or he doesn't like drinking water or something? Anybody that says they don't like drinking water, it's a dangerous person.
Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people, they have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over.
What's this man talking about?
Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. It's just the way it is.
This guy is spewing violent, dehumanizing rhetoric to his audience of thousands of people on live. This man is truly devoid of empathy and truly out of touch with the working class. And by the way, the whole topic is the borders, and he's basically saying that people need to be made an example out of by having their children shot at if they try to cross the borders with their children.
That's really y'all mans. Y'all let this man get this famous, bro. That says something about our country, bro.
And that will stop people from using kids as collateral. Those are his words. But my thing is, why is he dehumanizing these people so much? And that's because he is in a position where he doesn't have to afford anyone empathy. He's been insulated by his wealth and his privileges of just being an American. He doesn't question why people are trying to flee their countries. He doesn't question what their circumstances are. He's just worried about border security and how we should enforce it via shooting children. And this type of extreme rhetoric is why the Overton window has been shifting so far to the right and why we're in this mess with Trump right now. It's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of putting yourself in other people's shoes, and he's platforming these ideals and this rhetoric to all these people and trying to make it seem like it's normal. And I've never really understood the whole we have to enforce our borders thing, especially when you look at school shooters and mass shooters. They're all white folks. They're white people.
Yeah, that's the part they never want to talk about. The people that be all racist and just not liking black or brown people. That's the statistic they don't want to talk about right there. We're not the ones doing this.
Basically, I'm trying to say that Asmon Goy is an agent of the elite class. He's trying to turn marginalized groups into this boogeyman that everyone should be afraid of. And he's doing this to distract you from the fact that the actual elite class is actively harming our planet and actively harming us. He has all this smoke about border protection, but has Asmon Goy talked about all of the recalls in our produce and our food? And these are all things that are happening because of the elites that run our government. Not immigrants, not black people, not brown people. But Asmon Goy won't talk about that because that doesn't fit his racist worldview. Immigrants are not just violent people, and especially in America, our economy is built off the backs of immigrants. Our economy is built off the backs of non-white people. The labor that shaped modern day America came from slaves. It's this weird xenophobic elitism that causes people like Asmon Goy to view people who are fleeing their countries as non-humans. This guy gags at drinking water, doesn't leave the house, and he feels like he has the authority to speak on people who are less fortunate than him. Are you dead ass, bro? And since I'm talking a lot, let's just move on to the next clip because there's more that I have to show you. He's had this extreme rhetoric for so long. If you type in Asmon Goy in your Twitter search bar, all you have to do is scroll and you'll find a new disgusting clip from this guy. Let's talk about how this guy was advocating for rioters.
See, before he even gets to his next point, because I'm sure it's going to be really interesting. Asmon Goy is the way, just from seeing what he's saying in this video thus far, he's one of those guys that, like, every time I've seen somebody get into a debate with a hard right-wing conservative Trump supporter and ask them, you know, name a policy by the Democrats that you don't like, that you think is bad, they always give some sort of answer that doesn't answer the question. I'm saying this to say, really, they're making up problems that don't really exist. Like the statistic we saw earlier, mass shooters and things like that, they're done by white males. And yet, they'll constantly want to act like, you know, black people are out here killing and eating the dogs, and the brown people are, doing the same and causing so much violence, when really the most violent crimes are in America are done by white males. And most of like the black crimes, most of that is just localized to, impoverished neighborhoods where there's high amounts of gang violence and crimes of that nature. But outside of that, such a low percentage of black people commit any types of violent crimes or killings or anything like that. Such a low amount, but they never want to talk about that. They never want to talk about that part.
Just to be shot.
Republicans are afraid to project power. I think that's fundamentally what the issue is. They're afraid to project power because they're worried that people will get mad. Like, I think they're totally ideologically captured by looking for media approval or something like that. Unfortunately, yeah, they always shift back to uniparty. The Minnesota reaction spooked them. Well, can you imagine how much better Minnesota would have been if Trump had just sent in the National Guard and shot those people with rubber bullets? Like, it would have been over so fast, it would have been hilarious. And then you would have never had any of this happen. But unfortunately, if you let people be wild and be violent, they're going to be wild and violent. So with real bullets, I'm a big fan of shooting the rioters. I am. Like, if you're rioting and throwing rocks at police officers, yeah, I think they should shoot you in the head. Like, just straight up. Like, nobody should be throwing rocks at a police officer for any reason. Like, what the are we doing? So it's the judges in place, everything up. Well, the thing about shooting somebody is that it doesn't really matter what the judge says because it's not going to bring them back. They're a judge, not a necromancer, okay?
Now, I really shouldn't have said rioters because it'd be more accurate to say protesters, because he's talking about the situation that happened in Minnesota and Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, when there was a surge of ICE agents. And unfortunately, Renee Good and Alex Pretty lost their lives at the hand of those ICE thugs. And this is the billionaire bootlicker Asmon saying that the Republicans need to project more strength. Do you guys see just how out of touch this man is? He's saying that the government needs to project strength upon its people. He's saying that they need to show a display of power just to get people in line. What type of Orwellian style ruling is he referring to? Keep in mind, this guy does not leave his crib, and yet he has all these violent fantasies that he is clearly projecting onto his stream. And look, bro, I'm not saying you should attack police officers or assault them, but I really don't give a damn. And I hate when people like Asmongold try to do this thing where they place police officers on this high-ass pedestal. They try to treat them as a sacrosanct profession. And you really shouldn't treat police officers as sacrosanct because all you do is enable extrajudicial killings. Even if police officers got rocks thrown at them, that is not a lethal weapon. Nor should we normalize the idea that officers of the law can just kill you without due process of the court of law. I really don't know how.
Only time that should happen is if you're actively like shooting somebody. Pretty much the same rules that apply for gun card owners. You can only really use it legally if you feel like your life is threatened or if the life of like a loved one is threatened. Should apply the same to police officers. They should be using tasers more. Why don't they use tasers more? But it's another video.
How else I can say it? This guy is genuinely insane. Like, he is mentally ill. He is the epitome of Goy because he is nothing but a robot for these.
And they need to stop being so scared, always claiming that their life is in danger.
Elites that want to destroy our planet. This is the rhetoric he's putting out for all these people that watch him, and nobody will ever challenge him. I don't know why these streaming platforms won't take him down, because in my honest opinion, this is really appalling. This is genuinely appalling. How could you even speak on these two tragedies, the loss of two lives, in such a way? He even goes as far as to say judges are not necromancers. The way I see it, it seems like Asmongold is advocating for extrajudicial killings, and that is one of the most scary, horrific things that I've ever heard a nigga say. And what's frying me, bro, is that he got this like RuneScape type of music, this fantasy Game of Thrones ass music in the background as he goes on these schizophrenic right-wing rambles. But let me show you guys this next clip where he's literally advocating for people to be put in camps.
Like, if it was up to me, all of these people would be in camps and they'd be sent back to their own home country, right? I don't want any of these people in any Western country. They shouldn't be here. They don't deserve to be here. All they do is cause problems, and I don't want their culture here. I don't want the way they act here. I don't want to deal with them, period. That's really the way I feel.
You know what's crazy about these types of dudes? We live in a country that was built on immigrants and slaves. We built that. Well, our ancestors did. We built that. And basically, they take us and bring us here so they can have our country built for them. And now they're like, okay, thanks for building it. Now we want all of y'all out. We want all of y'all out. I heard a conversation from a MAGA guy the other day, and he said making America great again is making America a white man's country again. That's what this man said.
Holy Jesus.
So it was really like, yeah, thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for, all these years of us beating you into building our stuff. Now that it's done, get out of here.
Oh!
Evil, purely evil.
I don't think most people do. Just straight up. I call it whatever you want. Explain it however you want to explain it. I don't want it here.
Now, admittedly, I don't know the full context of this clip, but I don't think you really need the full context to begin with, because he's clearly just expressing very xenophobic views, which is just very interesting because the idea of America is that it's a melting pot of cultures and people. But for some reason, this billionaire bootlicker is talking about how these people cause problems and how no one wants them here. Asmongold, I guarantee there's a lot of people that probably wouldn't want you in America because of just how vile you are. And I don't think it's crazy to say he's likely referring to illegal immigrants. Like I said before, bro, the school shooters, the mass shooters, they are white folks. Who took out Kirk allegedly? A white boy. The Idaho shooting that went on? Who was doing that? A white boy. I think Asmongold is racist, so I'm gonna refer to him as such, but that is just my opinion, by the way. I hate when these racist folks like to just completely disregard the fact that a lot of these shooters be white people, and white people cause a lot of problems. America wasn't even originally a white man's land. It was conquered. What happened to Native Americans? White supremacy is the core of why our country has all of these problems, so you can't keep trying to offshoot it to these marginalized.
Oh yeah, that dude that said he wanted it to be a white man's America again, he literally said, when asked, he wants white supremacy back again. He said it clear as day. Like, what's wrong with y'all, man?
Communities. You seem so stupid. But it's clear that the reason Asmongold feels this way is that he likely thinks that white people are truly superior.
You're a white man in America right now. There is not a single system that is designed with your best interest in mind. Every single system is either designed to give other people advantages or to disadvantage you. This is just the case.
This man is so out of touch, it hurts.
Holy Jesus.
This man is so out of touch, it hurts.
It's not hard to think that Asmongold believes that white people are superior. The systems he's referring to are systems that are put in place to prioritize equality, but he perceives equality as taking away freedoms or disadvantaging him. Things like DEI were meant to stop the white man bias because in America, people still view white man as the default. And I say that white men are the default because if you're not a white man, people will have biases. So in order to account for these biases, there were systems put in place to prevent it. That's not putting white men at a disadvantage, that is merely leveling the playing field. But to Asmongold, he perceives that as an attack on the white race, or I guess white men.
People are really not going to like this. You're not being oppressed by the top 2% of society. You're being oppressed by the bottom 2% of society. And the bottom 2% of society have caused all of the manifest problems in your lives are caused by the bottom 2% in society.
So let me ask you a question, Asmongold. Are the bottom 2% of society putting data centers everywhere that are destroying the environment and sucking up all our clean drinking water? Is it the fault of the bottom 2% that tons of our produce and our groceries are being recalled because there isn't proper food safety regulations? And is it the bottom 2%'s fault that we are literally entering a water crisis globally? The answer is no. What Asmongold is doing is deliberately engaging in divisive conversations, and he is shielding for the billionaires that he bootlicks. All of the problems we have in society right now are not the fault of the bottom 2%. It's the fault of these systems that put people in positions where they have to do things to survive. And the people who run these systems are the top 2%. They're the billionaires, the elite class, and even our own government. But this billionaire bootlicker Asmongold wants you to believe it's your fellow working class citizens that are causing all all the problems in your life. And he's saying this as a millionaire who is insulated with his wealth and won't feel the brunt of the Trump administration. He don't gotta worry about healthcare. He don't gotta worry about the food recalls because he can purchase the top of the line organic groceries. He doesn't have to worry about whether or not he's gonna pay his rent next month. This guy is insulated with his wealth, and he's trying to tell you that your fellow working class citizen that is also struggling to survive is your enemy, and not the rich folks like him who play shield for these billionaires that don't give a damn about you. Talk your shit, twin. But he knows what he's doing, because from his own words, he considers himself a mainstream ally to the white supremacists such as Nick Fuentes.
Like, Nick doesn't do that. Nick says exactly what he thinks, and it's respectable. It is. I don't have any negative about it. But to me, I view my role as being a more mainstream ally towards this stuff without necessarily spearheading any sort of like real
Of course, this dude is a Nick Fuentes fan.
controversial change, because I can't really do that. It would compromise my position. That's the reason. I'm a funnel. Yeah, I kind of do that. Yeah, like a funnel.
So he's basically admitting that he is trying to push this white supremacist, extreme right-wing ideology without compromising his position on social media. Which means that Asmongold is telling you to your face that he is a goy for the billionaires. He wants to be the white knight for the elite class as he divides and sows division within these communities. Now, in my humble opinion, I honestly think this is genuinely evil. There is nothing you can do to redeem yourself when this is the place you are putting in pop culture. The ideas he's spreading and perpetuating don't even benefit the working class. They don't even benefit your average citizen. They only benefit rich white folks. They only benefit the elite class. And yet somehow this guy has a bunch of fans. None of these big platforms actually push back against him, and he just gets to exist freely as he funnels people into more extreme outlets such as Nick Fuentes, who's literally just a white supremacist. So with all of that being said, my opinion on Asmongold is that this guy, he is a problem, a genuine problem. And he admits to the fact that he is being a mainstream funneler to more extreme platform. And he's doing so in a way that doesn't compromise his position. That is genuinely evil. But that's really all I had to say. I don't really want to talk about this lame nigga anymore. Subscribe for more unsolicited.
Wowzers. Wowzers. So yeah. Now I have confirmation on why I'm not an Asmongold fan. And I actually do get why he's so big, because so many people in this country are white supremacists. I mean, our whole president is, and he's pushing for white supremacy. So I get why. I don't like that we're here, but I get why. But yeah, this dude, he's so far out of touch. He's so far out of touch. But I mean, you know, all the white supremacists are. They all are. They all are. And like, look at Nick Fuentes. He's pushing for white supremacy, but when he starts getting in trouble or questioned by the police, he claims he's Mexican.
Holy Jesus.
He literally said that. Y'all can find the clip. But yeah, so yep, not a fan of this guy. Not a fan of this guy at all. I'm mad that he's got such a big platform. He's got so many millions, and yet look at his crib and stuff. It's like, what a loser. But okay, that's all I'm gonna say about this guy. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think? And I'm sure any white supremacists that see this, y'all gonna hop in the comments trying to say some stuff. Go ahead, hop in. Let's talk about it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like the video, please hit me with a like and subscribe. It really goes a long way. But with that being said, as always, stay up, stay blessed, stay not racist, and peace out.